What's up? This is Rebel Radio.
What up? What up? This is DJ Newmark.
This is Peanut Butter Wolf.
It's your boy. It's okay.
Keep checking out Rebel Radio.
Rebel Radio.
This is Rebel Radio.
We're in the place right here. Rebel Radio is going down.
Would you say Rebel Radio?
Oh, wait. Let's do it again.
Rebel Radio.
What's up, Rebels? Welcome back to Rebel Radio, the weekly show where I talk to the rebels that are shaping youth culture. We find out how they do it, why they do it, and what you can do to get a little piece of the pie for yourself. We're also the only show to bring you new music every week from our friends over at EDM.com. I'm your host, Josh Levine. My guest in studio today is Laroussi, a great new pop R&B singer. Her single Lost is blowing up on the Billboard dance charts right now as we speak. And she's got some great stories of reinvention. She was on her way building a great career in the Netherlands and, tells us about how something was missing and it was time to shake it up. So she came to the U.S. and has been reinventing herself. She also talks us through a really interesting personal challenge that wasn't necessarily bad for business, but given her background and her family life, it was a big challenge for her to overcome anyway. Great stories from her, and her manager, my old friend, Adrian Miller, came through with her to talk about some of his stories, as well as really exploring that manager-artist relationship and why it's so important and how it can work really well. So good stuff coming up on Rebel Radio right after the EDM.com track of the week. That was Anna Kim with Ethereal, the EDM.com track of the week. If you like that one, get over to EDM.com, check out more new music. And right now, let's get into my interview with Laroussi and Adrian Miller. We can talk more about that, but I want to talk about the two of you. And so welcome to Rebel Radio. Thanks for doing this.
Thank you for having
So I'm excited to learn about you. And Adrian, I'm glad you're here because I think, first of all, we have, we'll talk about our history a little bit. I've come to sort of understand that the manager and artist relationship is really the key for a career. And so I want to kind of dig into a little bit of what that looks like. But first, so I have a question for both of you. Do you remember the first record you ever bought?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Laroussi.
It was Whitney Houston.
Whitney Houston.
It was I Will Always Love You.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Was that the big impact on you at the time?
Yeah. So she was a huge impact for me musically because she was the greatest vocalist ever to me. And when she came out with that record, I was like, that's it. Nobody can beat her. Nice. As a vocalist, as a performer. The way she carried herself as a woman. She made such a change to the world musically.
Sure.
And great personality as well. And I admired her since I was a little kid.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I never saw her live on stage, so I really regret that I never went to her shows.
Yeah. I didn't. You ever see Whitney live?
Never.
No.
But who produced it?
Yeah. We talked about it this week.
Yeah.
I don't know the name.
And his face is in my face, but his name is...
I don't know who produced that record.
Narda Michael Walton.
Oh, okay.
Narda, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Narda. He did Bodyguard.
Yeah. Nice. What was your first record?
In 1977, I purchased Double Dutch Bus.
Stop it.
On Western at Fat Daddy's Records down the street from my house. I didn't have a record player, but I liked the artwork. I was really attracted to the artwork.
That's the first 12-inch I ever bought.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny.
That's crazy.
That
Yeah.
is crazy.
I bought 7 inches before that, but that was my first 12-inch.
And I was gifted the next. That wasn't an album. That was like.
Yeah.
That was a giant maxi single.
Yeah, that's right.
Because they had other like jams on it. No, actually it was just 2. Was that on Casablanca? Am I tripping?
I think it was. Susan's saying yes. We got
It
to.
was. Yeah, because I just remember the artwork.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I just remember the.
No, yeah.
You know, looking at it, like
Yeah.
I was mesmerized by that whole experience of going in.
Do you know this record?
No.
It's
Is it crazy that I
Double
don't?
Dutch
No, it's
bus
not
is
not
on
crazy.
the street. Yeah, I'm gonna play it for you one day.
Yeah. I have
It
no
wasn't.
idea.
It didn't. You know, that record never crossed over, but it was a huge
Hmm.
urban, disco hip hop record.
So important.
So, how'd you get started singing?
Oh, I started singing at school actually.
Hmm.
Christian songs.
Christian songs.
Yeah.
Do you remember the first time you sang for an audience?
Yeah, I was 12.
Yeah.
My parents were in the audience. It was for the whole school. And I remember the teacher gave me this part where I could sing all the songs in the musical. And my parents didn't know that I was singing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so they came out
Yeah.
and they were like, why did you hide this from us? I said, well, I never hid it. I just didn't know I had a voice like this.
Mm.
So they were like, what do you want to do next? I said, well, can I have vocal lessons or can I explore? They said, anything you want to do, we'll have your back and we'll support you.
Nice.
And they never stopped doing that.
That's so cool.
So yeah, I've been very thankful for that.
So at what point did you start thinking of that as a career?
Well, as soon as I started singing more, talented shows, theaters, like there was a program called the Soundmix Show in the Netherlands.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my friends, she was my dancing teacher. She was like, I'm gonna sign you up for it. I said, well, who am I have to be? So she said, well, why don't you be Vanessa Williams? Because you have to be someone else. And they make you look like that person, that artist.
Like you're singing a cover.
You sing a cover, yeah. But you have to come so close to the artist's voice.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so you really, it was one of the most popular shows back home,
Yeah.
and I used to watch it since I was little. And the guy was like, the host was like an idol in my country. So I went to the auditions, and we bought the whole outfit, and she dressed me up as Pocahontas, and I auditioned with the song Colors of the Wind.
Okay.
I got through, and then they said, well, we already had that song in the broadcasting show, but why don't you do Save the Best for Last? So that's how I had my first debut show, basically.
Oh, wow.
And it was crazy, and from that moment it went very fast.
Yeah.
The next show was Idols in the Netherlands,
Uh-huh.
and that's when my whole career started, basically.
Wow.
I was very young, yeah.
Okay, I want to talk about that, but sidebar, Vanessa Williams, like her whole career got torpedoed by the Playboy thing, right?
Yeah.
And, I remember for me, like, Comfort Zone was a big record. Like, I love that record. But I remember that was around the same time, more or less. And, like, how crazy is it now that, like...
That makes your career.
It makes your career, or it can, right? It certainly isn't going to hurt it in any significant way.
Well, I would disagree with that.
Well,
Because
it's a fact. But it's a fact, though. You can disagree.
Huh?
You cannot disagree.
Well, I guess what I'm saying... No, but what I'm saying is, like, I don't know, I'll get the timeline wrong, but I think she didn't work for a number of years.
Oh, no.
No, that's true. Yeah.
Absolutely. She had to get wifed up.
Yeah. And she had to
Shout
kind
out
of
to
rebuild
Ramon.
her whole career.
Ramon.
And somebody told me they had worked with her, and it was like super sore subject for her if it ever came up or whatever. And that's not even something, I mean, she posed for that, right?
Yeah.
It's not like that got leaked. It's not like a tape that got leaked that she didn't know was happening or something like that. But I'm just saying how much the world has changed.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's crazy.
I've experienced something, but it was very embarrassing.
Yeah.
but it was viewed like a lot of times, and it was.
What was it? You have to tell them now. You can't
It's
partially
crazy.
you can't partially say
So
it.
I was in this program in the Netherlands, and it was for a charity, and I was singing with Glennis Grace. She basically just was in this broadcasting show here in America.
Okay.
She almost reached the finals with Simon Cowell.
Mm.
Anyways, so great singer in the Netherlands and another singer, and we were the Dream Girls. So the whole production team says, let's start the cat fight, at the end of the song. Guess what happened? One of the girls started, like, seriously, and then she grabbed my dress and she pulled it down. And it was like a second.
No way.
And that second has been viewed, like...
Sure.
And I was so embarrassed. And I wasn't even sure that it happened.
Uh-huh.
And the whole production team didn't say anything.
Really?
Until I sat in the dressing room and my friend said, do you actually know what happened? I said, did it happen or not? She goes, yes. So I had to call my father and, prepare him for all the drama.
Yeah.
And I was super embarrassed, but, one of my boobies came out.
Uh-huh.
And it was an accident.
Yeah.
Where is this on YouTube?
Adrian!
I'm only asking. No, that hurt.
Adrian.
You got big ass rings on.
Sorry.
So, it's interesting. It sounds like, though, that was an embarrassing moment for you.
Very much.
But there wasn't any backlash.
No.
Right. It's not like Janet Jackson.
No, but...
Like, everyone blamed for this whole nonsense, right?
No, but I come from family. I have, my father is Islamic.
Sure.
So it was, for me, a big disgrace to my family. And
yeah, no, I don't mean to minimize it,
so
but...
in the Netherlands, they don't care.
Right.
It's like nothing.
Yeah.
The more, the better.
Right. Sure.
So it was more my feeling towards
No,
my own
but that's
people.
so interesting, right? Because there's just a difference between what matters personally and professionally.
Yes.
Right. And I think, all of us have to find the right balance.
Yes.
And sometimes sometimes not our choice.
True.
Yeah.
Oh, I had many discussions with my father.
Yeah.
About clothes, how far. Sometimes we disagreed, but now we find a way. He still sometimes talks to me, tries, and I really respect him, like he's my best friend.
Mm.
But I grew up in a different world than he.
Yeah.
And I told him also that sometimes I dress up differently, and I will never go too far where I would put you really to disgrace.
Mm-hmm.
So he knows. I think as long as we know that, then we're good.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he matters the world to me.
Yeah, sure. So, okay, so you go through that, the TV shows, and you said, like, things just start happening. So what's was there a moment when you feel like this is, this is happening, that you're, things are different today than they were yesterday?
Like here in the United States or back home?
What brought you to the U.S.?
Oh, after, making music in the Netherlands, releasing my albums, I realized I needed something else. I needed to be triggered. I needed to challenge myself. I always wanted to go abroad.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't feel at home. I wouldn't say that people didn't understand me, but I always felt I was different in a way, and I couldn't be that person back home. So that's why I left. And it was the best decision I ever made, because these last years have been such a roller coaster of a great musical experience. So many things I learned, so many amazing musicians I got to meet, and just the whole way of working with Philip Lawrence, for example, who basically became like a mentor during the making of my album. I learned so much from him as a songwriter. I never got to work with somebody like him, and he learned me, you know, a different way of songwriting, just not to give up on the song, even if you have just one strong line, word. And I think like one of the songs that ended up on my album was Forever Every Day, and we had like 21 versions, and
Wow.
the song drove me nuts eventually.
Yeah.
And Philip went like, okay, I like this melody, this version, I like that melody, that version. And then I was like, I still want to add the bass line. Okay, add the bass line. And then my my other guy, Sean, said, no, I feel like you need to be more closer vocally with yourself. So it was like this whole experience like made me realize that, you know, you can always perfect things as long as you don't go nuts. Yeah.
I mean, I think that's so interesting because you know, what it takes to make a song. I mean, you're just talking about one song, right? And then
Yeah, it was 3 years.
dozens and dozens of times,
Yeah.
right? But, you know, what it takes to make that song, and by the time it's done, you're sick of it. No one else has even heard it.
I haven't even performed it yet.
Right. And then, you know, let's say the song is a hit. Then you're going to perform it dozens or hundreds of times. You're going to hear it thousands of times. And, you know, I'm always like, I think it's so interesting the difference between your perspective then versus a fan.
Yeah.
Who loves the song and has heard it 25 times and
Yeah.
just thinks it's great. And you're like been sick of it since it was even done. But that's the life.
Yeah. I just feel like, you know, it's nice that I actually can talk about it with you because I don't get a chance to talk about the whole process behind the scene.
Sure.
But we really spend a lot of time. I spent only 5 months mixing. I drove him crazy eventually.
Not bad.
And Tech was like, okay, you sure you want this? Yeah. And I really sat down with him and I fine-tuned it, like till the moment I was like, okay, that's it. And he really got my back, and he was like, you know, this is actually the process for me that I like the most because normally a record label comes to me and they give me a month to mix it. So this is great that we can sometimes you can step aside, and then listen to the song at different places, and you hear different things as well. You know, I played songs in so many different rooms just to be sure that I was hearing it the right way.
Sure.
And the crazy thing, it was the car I trusted the most.
Yeah.
And the car has always been, didn't matter what car, but it always has been my safety place and just the place where, you know, I end up driving for hours sometimes after a studio session just to listen what I did and if I can learn from it, if I hear something strange. So yeah, I enjoyed that process very much.
That's cool. How'd you guys meet?
Want to tell a story?
Be my guest.
Huh?
Be my guest.
You want me to tell about Channing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So we met actually through our lawyer, Channing Johnson.
Okay.
And I met Adrian at the record plant. And,
Where she recorded the entire album.
Nice.
yeah. And once he came in, we had a great conversation.
Yeah.
And I immediately liked his energy. And I was like, okay, I hope he likes my music. Because that's, you know, is the one thing you have to test. Nobody had heard it unless except for the team.
Yeah.
So he came back another time and we sat down and, you know, took the time to listen to the songs. You know, and we started talking more and more, and I really liked his thoughts. I liked where he came from, you know, building on an independent level. Like I was signed up in my early days through BMG and Sony BMG, and the last 3 years we did everything independently, and I felt like Adrian was the right man, to partner up with.
Yeah.
And he, he and I, we did an event together in November.
Yeah.
Which was the first event, which was the release party for the single Lost. And that was great. And after that, we just started.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Adrian, I know you worked at, we were trying to remember before we started how we met. But I know it was, I know it's been 25 years at least.
Long time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you've worked with many, many great, talented, and successful artists, which we can talk about. But at this point, how do you know, besides the music, I'm going to assume that you have to love the music, but I'm sure you'd also agree that there's plenty of people that make good music that you probably don't want to work with for various reasons. So besides the music, how do you know if you want to work with somebody? What are you looking for?
I mean, my personal thing is their personality, and as much as I want them to like me, I want it. It's a creation of friendship, You don't really reinvent that wheel.
Mm-hmm.
You want to be around a room with people you get along with. Unfortunately, like you and I, we don't get to spend enough time together, but I consider you a dear friend.
Sure.
And it's so funny that when Susan was like, "Oh, we're gonna do Rebel Radio," I was like, "Huh? I don't know if I want to be on," but I said, "You know what? If Josh is having me, there's no way I can turn that down."
Appreciate that.
Yeah, man. I don't do a bunch of interviews.
Yeah.
That's not my thing. So, I think finding people you would like to see be in good positions, if you have that capacity to help them, it starts with wanting to be nice and kind to one another. So it's from the heart with me.
Mm-hmm.
I always reserve that for art to the heart.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
So when you talk about like whether you can help them or how you can help an artist, what do you think? How would you describe the biggest contribution that you make?
I probably give an air of confidence. I can help your confidence 100% from you thinking you can do it to you knowing you can do it. See, the dream is perspective. If we wake up and we say we are, therefore it is. It's not, that much mind control here.
That's brilliant.
Thank you.
No, I hate to
I
hate to sit here and call you brilliant, but it is. So I've studied a lot of leadership and self-development in the context of helping lead others, right? So I'm trying to build a company and a family and all these things that require me to step up and be a leader. And one of the I did a program called Strategic Coach, which was like year-long intensive training. And I would say the guy's core message was help your people build their confidence, which is a different approach to leadership in the sense of, because you're trying to get people to follow you, right? And you're trying to get them to follow your advice, your counsel, whatever. But I think you're 100% right that the more confident people are in themselves, the more flow there is, right? The more they can create, the more they can promote themselves, the more they can do all the things that are necessary. And that's true in any job, but maybe especially true in this, where you are your brand and the product, and it's all wrapped up in one. And the criticism can be brutal and unfair and, all of that. And without that confidence, you're not going to get there.
Honestly, when I started, after a year and a half, I was like, I'm going to go home.
Yeah.
I wanted to give up.
What made you have that feeling?
because nothing was sure. I left everybody behind, and I had no ground. It's like I didn't know enough people in this town.
Yeah.
I felt really by myself. I was trying to fight myself through the scene, even though I was already with the team. But there was so much insecurity that I just didn't enjoy the process in the beginning. I got so stressed out, and my mom was like, "Why don't you come home?" That's when I got a call from somebody in the Netherlands that was part of the team, and his name's Dennis. Dennis said, "Well, Hand, I heard some of your songs already. I don't want you to give up. You're gonna regret this the rest of your life if you're gonna go home now. What are you gonna do?
Wow.
Gonna make the same circle again in your country?" And I go, "Well, how am I supposed to deal with this? He said, I know everything." He said, "But nobody's doing what you're doing, so don't give up, And then I called my mom. I said, "Mom, I'm gonna stay. So I want you to be supportive as you've always been. Have my back, and don't tell me to give up anymore, because I won't." And that's
Nice.
when I continued here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was never easy. I didn't like LA.
Yeah.
I hated LA the first year. Honestly,
I've heard that a lot. I think LA is a hard
it
town.
was very hard. The culture is so different from where I come from.
Sure.
So it's
Well,
like,
and especially, I don't know that much about the Dutch market, but it's a small market, right? And obviously
Very
you're on a couple big TV shows. You won an Edison Award. Like there's, you had built something there.
yeah,
And then to come here where no one's ever heard of the Edison or those shows
Yeah.
or any of that, and you're starting over, that can't be easy.
no. But I'm glad I did it, because everything that eventually happened, and just the whole learning experience, to have the ability to have the time to create like an album and take the time for that.
Yeah.
That was the best thing I ever did. Just start all over.
So
Just,
did you approach this album differently than you did
yeah,
back
so
home?
many ways. Yeah.
Yeah? What do you mean?
Well, first of all, I was a different woman, so lyrically I had many more things to say, and because nobody knew me here, like in my home country, sometimes when I started writing with people, they already knew who I was, where I come from, so I felt I locked myself, built a wall around me, and I wasn't very open in these writing sessions.
Mm-hmm.
Now when I came here, I was like, okay, I want to talk about this, I want to talk about that, right? And nobody judged me for it, because nobody knew who I was, and they didn't give it.
Right. Yeah.
So that was a very nice experience, and that made the whole process so differently, that the songs became more honest, more closer to me. And then the production part was interesting, because Davey Nathan, my producer, and we started from scratch. So we spent so many days together just creating beats and melodies, and because of his Jewish background, we had this great Arabic kind of connection.
Uh-huh.
So once he started to play these riffs on his keyboard, he was like, "You like this?" I said, "Yeah." "Do you like this song?" I said, "No, it should be more, on that part." So that was such a fun part to me, because he was one of the first ones that actually really did understand how to use that sound with not overdoing it or disrespecting it. It just went organically. And Philip embraced that part, and we just gotta find a way to make this approachable to people here in the United States. So that was great, just to have that time to play. Sometimes we went too much on the pop side. Sometimes he came with these heavy beats. I still have a few, like they're crazy. They're so good, but they were not for me. So we had to throw them away. But it was such a fun experience.
I bet.
Yeah. But and then there was like Brody Brown. Philip once came into the studio, and he goes, "I have a few ideas for you." And he played me this one track, and it just had the instrument. It was like an instrumental, and it was the first song that was actually played by a whole band. So, you know, he starts telling about Brody, who he is, what he did, and then told me that basically all the instruments he played himself.
That's
And
cool.
I knew when he played that song, it was for me. I was like, "Can I have it, please? You know, can we play with it?"
Yeah.
And he was like, "Yeah, no, of course. Why don't you start writing with Davey and a bunch of other people?" And became the R&B kind of song on my album, and the album title of the title of the album,
Which is
A plus.
A plus.
Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, and I just fell in love with that song. And yeah, I just admire Brody for his work. So it was such a gift to have that song on
Yeah.
the album.
Yeah. Well, I know what you're doing is sort of blending genres between R&B and pop, and you know, some dance.
Yeah.
So how's I don't know, we come from a time, maybe I'm stuck in it because I'm sure you've evolved, where genre kind of is so important, and it defines, you know, who an artist is, right? And you know, I remember when I was managing, you know, my artists were like, you know, I'm making a record for this block, right? And my guys that I grew up with have to love it, and either I don't care if anybody else loves it, or I don't want to make a record for other people, right? And so they're so defined by that, and that's all old thinking, right? Like, no, that's not how the music business works anymore. I'm curious how you think about sort of genre playing out today.
I deal with the genreless.
Yeah.
If you fall into a specific category, it's probably not good for my eclecticness.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not by the time an artist is rocking with me, they don't actually fall into any specific category. They're kind of like, they do more than one thing. They're more than just a one-trick pony, usually. But, you know, I tend to be on the page of, if you're not worth it in your own backyard, then why do I care with artists still?
So what does that mean today?
Well, you know, if we want to get scientific about it, you know, you look at a Kodak Black, and not only is it important for Kodak Black to be respected in his hood, he stays connected to his community,
Right.
and his records are about hood things. But if you cross over to a Christina Aguilera, I worked on her album,
Okay.
and she needed that same kind of, you know, rebirth. She wanted to go take her sound back to the essence, or, you know, keep it street. She's known for getting down with it, but having a big voice over that sort of a thing. And there's a lot of symmetry to what Laroussi does and to what she was trying to do through that.
Okay.
And a lot of the same players on both projects as well.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that I think our old school mentality stays. That's the official look. If you can get that, that's official.
Right.
But you got to know that there is another wave coming, and you know, I say a Kodak Black, but you know, that's because he's at the top of the food chain now. There's Little Baby, there's Gunna, and there's a lot of rap music, and we do know the difference of hip hop and rap in terms of like musical treats and how that process goes. But I'd like to think that if we were to just sit back and say, well, what's the difference of, I think it's all encompassing. And I think that there's still a roux that certain things float up to the top, and there's certain things that are sediments that are just strong, that hold it all together at the bottom. Yeah. Speaking of Creole.
Nice. Adrian, what artists have you worked with that's had the biggest impact on the way you do business or think
Quincy.
about music?
Quincy Jones.
What'd you learn from him?
Well, that was when Big Bro was over there running a label, and I was signing talent at Warner, but I couldn't keep my ass at my office to save my life, so I'd always wind up at Quest.
Right.
And, it's right up the street, walking distance, so I'd be over there bothering. I mean, I was in their meetings, their personal, like, employees only meetings. I would be in there sitting there, and Quincy's like, for the life of me, I don't remember hiring you. And I'm like, because I don't work here.
Right.
He's like, well, you might want to get out of here because I'm about to get into everybody's ass. And he started yelling. He was yelling at the top of his lungs about why we don't have more young people. I want some youth up in this piece and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I'm tired of looking at people that look like me. And I was like, oh, I got it figured out. And so I hit fade and I was like, yo, I got it figured out. And he's just like, you got what figured out? I said, the young people thing. He's just like, you actually listening to him? I was like, am I the only person in the room who don't work there that was listening?
Right.
So I brought him a group. He signed them, called Young American.
Okay.
And Quincy was like, I don't know what part of the conversation you stayed for, but thank you. And at that time, I wasn't doing bad, so I wasn't looking for a check or anything. But that was the check. Him saying thank you to me and remembering it, some 15 years later.
Yeah.
And having the, he's done so much in terms of just like, with his documentary out right now, I bring the relevance to people always trying to tell me like, well, who's the most famous person you dealt with in the business of music? Quincy Jones.
For sure. So you guys have both sort of started over in different ways.
You better.
Let's talk about that, going through that. And Adrian, I know, so when I met you, you were working at Buzztone and then Warner and, all these big companies, or at least to me, they felt like big companies. I know. How is it different? So now you've been on your own, had your own company for many years. What do you miss about working for somebody else?
Good question. What do I miss? I miss not having to pay rent. Oh, I miss it.
Yeah.
I miss that part. Bless their heart, those that don't have to pay rent.
Sure.
I miss free mailing. I don't even mail shit like that, but I'd love to just be at an office just to, exactly.
But yeah, I probably would if I had a mail room.
I would utilize the mail room.
For
I
sure.
would definitely be in the mail room. It's the underutilized space. And I think as far as infrastructure goes, I don't really miss that too much because it's more bureaucracy at a stronger company like Warner. And bureaucratic is not how you get art going. So, I don't know much people get that part, but I miss a salary. I miss a regular salary.
I understand.
I can't front, man. Because I was broke. We were broke. We didn't do this for the salary. We did it for the, for the opportunity to just be a part of something. And before Quincy said that, it almost didn't dawn on me that we can, do whatever really we want. I mean, you don't know this part necessarily about me, but yeah,
hopefully you'll learn something about each other today. That's part of the idea.
I definitely, have learned something about Laroussi. And I'm going to be on YouTube later for those who want to join me. YouTubers.com NL / NL.
Adrian.
Yeah, man. I miss the handoff. I learned about the major labels as being an independent person with respect to it having a handoff. And then being at the major label and your boss being somebody like Benny Medina and Benny saying, well, how much money did you spend on signing them? I was like, oh, I got them for a really good deal. Like, that ain't enough. Go back and offer them more money. Make sure they don't sign with somebody else.
Right.
I learned a lot about, and that was a different era as well.
Sure. Yeah, of course.
They don't, you don't got
Although
the numbers.
labels are spending a lot of money on signings now.
Yeah, but it's a little bit more even Steven because they're so calculative with their moves. You guarantee Mike Karen is going to know exactly how much money he's spending and when it's coming back.
Sure.
So, I like that, but that's not what makes me work with artists still to this day. It's not the numbers. I'm encouraged by the numbers. I even tell the artist, don't worry about that part. Well, that'll come. It looks good, but what matters is when people show up for you. When they show up, that's what's up. So as far as like the major label thing, I miss the handoff. And I don't really miss it because I get it at any given point. Like any major labels listening to this right now, you can be in business with Laroussi. It's real simple. Call me. 1-800 Adrian L. Get at me.
Nice.
No, I'm down to do the handoff. I mean, please, Lord Jesus, it's a lot of work. Susan? And I want her to be so... This is a funny interview, and I'm going to just predict the future.
Please.
When she does not want to come back and do another interview with you, why am I going to do Josh's... We did Josh's thing. La, 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 la. Because Rebel Radio is where I predicted you're going to sell 1 million records.
Nice.
And I don't do predictions. I just don't even care about predictions. But
Well, now you have.
yeah, I have to now. So
I love it.
That's big.
that's why you got to go back
Oh.
to Rebel Radio.
Come
Yeah.
back, we'll do that. We'll celebrate.
Yes.
And if not 1 million records, we're going to settle for 1 million streams.
Sure.
We'll take it.
Million something.
Take it how we get it. Yeah, it'll be an increment of million
Take
something.
it back,
Yeah.
Adrian. It was so good.
No. I just want to be realistic.
No, it's okay. We have the sound bite. And
Right?
Then we just
Yeah,
ignore
yeah,
the
yeah.
rest.
Going over it.
Just-
Well, all you have to do is do that
That's
several
right.
100,000 million times, and
Yeah.
and then people just fall for like, what? She sold 1 million records?
That's right.
Yeah, you guys missed the whole boat.
Absolutely.
Don't miss the record. A+ out now in stores.
Hey.
No, actually, it's not.
There's
But it will be when this airs.
Well, because there's no stores. But it would be in stores if there was any stores.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Stores.
Going to the store and buy actual CD cover. Just
Sure.
There is an excitement building around this. I don't know I don't know how live we are.
About a month.
Yeah, so probably now. Did you hear about the Chris thing?
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Her single got remixed by her DJ.
Lost.
Lost is remixed by Chris Cox and a handful of other guys.
Okay.
It just became the breakout dance record on Billboard.
Nice.
So next week it'll chart. And
Congratulations.
yeah, man, she's off to the races in a real way.
That's exciting.
That's something.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So, for being independent and 1 minute not sure if you can put a record out to
For sure.
being a breakout, and that's an honest, non-working breakout. That's just servicing and
So
give it
this
back.
record's coming out independently.
Yes.
Cool.
So far, so good. We can hand it off though at any given point. Anybody
Yeah.
out there listening in Radio Land?
I get it.
Get at me. Get at me, dog. You can have conversations.
Well, I'll tell you, I don't have I never have actually had a job, so I don't have anything to miss.
Right.
But
You had a partial job.
well, I've had a lot of partial jobs.
Yeah.
But I've never had a job.
You were worthy. Like by the
that's
way,
not the point.
By the way, you were worthy of any job you wanted.
I appreciate that.
I only
I've
say it
always
because-
been working. Let's say that.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying. Like, it would be dumb not to hire Josh.
But once in a while, so I don't know really what I would miss. I do think, the not having to worry about every single thing that's a cool idea. And then, I just was at CES yesterday, and I go to a lot of like conferences or whatever, just because I feel like I should be at those places. And then once in a while, I'm like, wouldn't it be cool to be here on a budget and have like, not
Expense
just
account.
well, not just the expense account, but also like we could throw a party
Yeah,
that
we're
somebody
how about
who's
we're
not
sup-
me is paying for.
Wait, we're supposed to be throwing this party.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to do
Exactly.
I love those type of opportunities.
sure.
Like, I have to do a party. Like, that's when I'm going to do it. Other than that, I don't have any desire.
For sure. And I do that stuff anyway. I
Yeah.
had a little party in Vegas, but it's like, it would be nice to spend somebody else's money doing that and just sort of not think about
OPM.
it. For sure.
It's supposed to be OPM.
Yeah. So, okay. When we're talking about sort of being independent and starting over. How much, you sort of talked about the difference between making this album and the rest, but where you're at now, like how much of your Dutchness, is that a word?
Yeah.
I don't think it is.
I understand what you mean, Josh.
Is are you conscious about what you preserve or what you bring with you from, from where you come from versus being here?
I don't think about it.
No.
I just be myself.
Yeah.
And when you make music,
do you notice certain things?
well, I heard in the beginning that I had an accent.
You do?
Yeah.
I didn't
but
know that. Write that down.
no, but seriously, when there was one time that I was in a recording with Philip, and he's like, "I just work on your pronunciation a little bit," but other than that, no, you don't think, I've traveled the world also, so it's not like I've lived my whole life in Netherlands and didn't go anywhere.
Of course.
I love traveling. I love meeting new people, just exploring cultures, performing for different audiences. So the Dutch culture, it's who I am, but I was also raised as an African in a way. So I was raised up in two cultures, so I always blend the two.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no. I surround myself with Dutch people here.
Do you?
That's something that happened organically.
Is there? I don't meet a lot of Dutch people here in LA.
That's crazy because that's kind of a community
Yeah?
there. Yeah.
That's interesting. I don't think I've really come across it.
No,
But I'm not. Yeah, I guess obviously I'm not in those places.
Right. But they're here. Yeah. No, I have some great friends here.
Yeah.
Very, very, very nice, and they've been very supportive. They've been there for me the last 3 years, and it's just nice to talk about things that are not here sometimes.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure.
They call me and they're like, "Come eat with us," and then they make this Dutch food.
Yeah.
So it makes me.
You don't go to Dutch food. Are there Dutch restaurants in LA?
No.
No.
But honestly, I miss the Moroccan food more than I miss Dutch food.
Well, Moroccan food's better than Dutch food.
Yes.
For sure.
There are Moroccan restaurants here.
Definitely.
Yes. They're great
I
Moroccan restaurants.
haven't found them yet.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I can cook Moroccan food, so.
Really?
And she will.
Okay, we're coming over for
Yes.
Million people can come eat Moroccan food. That's what we were going to do.
that. Exactly.
I love it. The spices are so amazing.
It's funny because we were talking about Amsterdam, and we had last time I went, I took the family and we took an apartment there for a week, and we had great. Every meal was great except we went to like a Dutch restaurant. Like everything else was fantastic.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
I had the best Turkish food in
Turkish
Amsterdam.
food is good too. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I promise you, the Moroccan is better.
Oh yeah. I don't doubt it. Okay. How we doing on time, James? Oh, we're late. Cool. I have a lightning round that I like to ask people before I let you go. Wait, you're from Gouda?
Yes.
That's a place.
It's
And they make the cheese there.
the best.
Because we've heard of the cheese, but not the city.
They actually made it in my grandma's house.
No way.
I swear.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I was in Italy this summer and I went to Parma,
Okay.
Oh, yum.
which, I'd heard of, I've had Parma ham. I didn't until I walked in. So I walked into this restaurant and the entire wall, it was about a 30-foot ceiling, was cheese wheels. And like all the way across. It was 100 cheese wheels. And I was like, oh, Parmigiano. I totally didn't get it until that moment. They're like, oh, the cheese is named after this place. So I had no idea there was a place named Gouda, but we're glad there is because it's delicious.
And the waffles. They got the most famous waffles. So there's a truck here in LA that sells stroopwafels.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
still have to find it. I found a
I've
place
seen
where
that.
they have the licorice now, my favorite candy.
Oh really?
But now I still have to find the truck. Yeah. Like I used to go every Saturday with my parents to the market. We buy the fresh cheese,
Yeah.
and then they would always give me a treat, which was a stroopwafel. It was so big, it was hot, it
Huh.
was just amazing. So that's a tradition. It's still in the family.
I didn't know. We went to Dutch pancakes.
Oh
when I was
yeah,
out there.
yeah, that's tradition
Which
too.
were great,
Yes.
but I didn't know about the waffles.
All right. I'll bring you some next
You know,
time.
here we know about Belgian waffles. We don't know about Dutch waffles.
I'll bring you some next time.
That's. Oh yeah, fries
Yes.
for sure.
It's good to like get the food that is native, but it's good to have great food no matter if it's native or not.
No, true.
But the best way to do any of all those things is to speak to people you know and go to their homes.
Yeah, for sure.
That's the experience. Like, you know, I don't get caught up in the restaurant business. I'm always like, yo, let me get over to your house right there for free meal. I mean, it's not just being cheap, it's also being accurately cheap.
That's an important skill.
Yes, sir.
Okay, lightning round. What's your favorite city to travel to?
Italy.
Where in Italy?
I would say Capri. Very beautiful.
Yeah.
Very beautiful. And I just love Italy because, you know, they have the richest culture to me. Food is delicious. People are great. You know, the buildings. I mean, Rome is just one of my favorite places. But if I talk about holidays, I would say Capri. Yeah.
The food is delicious. I was there this summer and we noticed, like, it's just Italian food. Like
Yeah, of course.
Which is not bad, but you know, we live here where you eat a different food every meal.
Every
different food,
yeah.
and we were there and like 5 days in, it was like pasta or pizza. Like, what are we having today? And that was anyway. You mentioned Paris.
Favorite place, but
Why
unfortunately,
Paris?
because I ball so hard when I'm there. I
In
can't
what
front.
way?
Like I was okay. So the last time we were there, we had a show at the big arena with Bruno Mars. So I went with Regina. I took Regina King to the show. We went there after we went to the Roland Garros, which is the French Open.
Yeah.
We call it French Open. They don't.
Yeah. Of course.
So we're there hanging out all day long. And next thing I know, I'm in one of the most exclusive little dives doing hookah. I have a get down in Paris like no other. I don't understand why it's so beautiful or why it's always top tier. And even without that particular trip, all my trips there have been insane. Like, are you familiar with Mama Shelter in Hollywood?
Yeah.
Well, the main one is in France.
Yeah.
So the owners are brothers. So I go there and I stay for like Holiday Inn money just because I know the brothers. So and it's in the middle of the 11th. So I'm just like, again, I'm at a different tier and I'm there and Sway's calling me like, yo, I heard you were in France. I'm like, where you at? I'm right here. Boom. And it's just always like that. It's like all my people. And the hardest thing was to find a haircut, how to get it, you know. Well, that's the thing.
Why?
I get my waves together. There's no way around it. But I found Kanye's barber.
Oh yeah.
And Babs is my barber now.
Nice. Who's your favorite DJ?
Chris Cox.
Hey.
Is he an American or he's Dutch?
He's there.
Okay.
Yeah. He lives in Vegas.
Who's your favorite Dutch DJ?
Ooh, I would say Armin.
Okay.
Armin from Buddha.
Yeah. Adrian.
My favorite DJ?
Yeah.
DJ or
No.
on-air personality?
Yeah, that's good. Great question.
No.
Garth, I like Garth Trinidad
Yes.
for his selection and playlist.
We love Garth. He's been on the show. Good friend.
I really have a fascination with people like Lou, DJ Rashida, Tendaji Lathan. These are people who functionally play shit that I would play.
Yeah.
And me being people's favorite DJ, I'd like to think I, got a half a playlist myself, But, for my birthday, Jazzy Jeff gave me a remix of one of my songs and said "Happy Birthday, Adrian" and put it to me on a zip drive. I was just like, on a flash drive. I was like, what? So Jeff is probably top tier, one of my favorite DJs. I can't front, but I like all those people too.
Nice.
If I have a birthday party, ultimate birthday party is having all of them DJ.
What's the last great book you read?
I read a few. It was about a politician in the Netherlands, and it's a long story. How can I explain this?
With the title?
I can't even translate it. Anyways, it was basically about her she was a refugee from Somalia, had a very bad childhood.
Oh,
Laroussi Ali.
yeah.
Yeah.
I forget that. I was trying to remember the name of the book, but I've seen it.
And she came to the Netherlands, became a politician, and she was very, I would say, very open-minded, but also upfront with her ideas.
Mm-hmm.
And not a lot of people could relate to that. So there was a lot of people against her. And I thought, I disagreed with some of her thoughts and beliefs because where I come from,
Mm-hmm.
she disrespected also some things, but I could understand where she came from and the journey she took. So there was this respect that I gained when I started reading about her.
Yeah, I love her story. I haven't read the book, but I've seen her a bunch on Bill Maher, and I think she's hugely inspirational. I love the ability to be inspired by somebody who you might disagree with, I think is incredible.
No, I've interviewed, like, for example, there was a minister in my country, and I was back home. I was an ambassador for a refugee organization, and it was at the time where there was just a lot of discussion about it. Politics we were just like, they wanted to close the borders, and it was bad. It was really bad.
Mm-hmm.
So started interviewing her, and I just didn't like her because of the things that she said in the newspapers. But mainly is how she treated human beings. They just, when they come to the Netherlands and they're trying to stay there, they put you in prison.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a real prison. I went there to see it, talk to the people, etc. And it just broke my heart because these people, they didn't violate anything. Sure. Yeah. So I talked to her about it on national radio, and this was when I still disliked her in so many ways, but she was in her role as minister president. After she stopped, a friend of mine, she started throwing an event for it's called the Strong Women Award in the Netherlands, my friend Betty, and she invited Rita Verdonk, and I was like, why did you do that? Why are you gonna actually present her that award? Mm-hmm. And she was like, yeah, but you don't know her as the way I do know her. I said, well, what do I need to know about her more than the things that she said and did? She said, well, I think you should talk to her about it. And that was the moment when I met her in a whole different surrounding, and I was like, okay, I understand. We won't be best friends ever, sure. But I understand where you come from. So yeah, it was learning experience for me as well, because when I was young, I used to judge people very fast, and now I'm like, maybe I should get the time to meet them better before I have my opinion ready. So yeah.
Cool. Adrian, you got a book for us?
Just finished Shantaram.
Okay.
And I'm now reading Brief History of Seven Killings by Marlon
I love
James.
that book.
Yeah, great book.
So good.
I'm at the end, so don't do that.
I'm not, but
okay,
it's a fantastic book. I did the audiobook, which
I'm reading the hard
even,
copy.
Like more fun.
Yeah, you get to hear the accents and stuff. Yeah, I wish. I probably should do that.
Yeah.
Somebody, you buy the audiobook and then you go to do something with your phone and then it disappears and you can't
really?
find the shit?
Nah, I don't have that.
I'm so pissed right now about that.
Really?
Because I went to buy Little James's book, James Prince, because I'm reading. I was reading 2 books, and I can't do a third. I was going to do audio. But
Yeah.
can't find that book now.
Huh.
But yeah, Brief History of Seven Goings and Shantaram.
What movie have you seen the most in your life?
I don't know. I think you're gonna laugh about it.
I'm definitely gonna laugh about it.
I've seen The Corpse Bride of Tim Burton so many times, like so many times.
Okay.
Because it's inspired me in so many ways. He's my favorite director. He takes me to this place where everything can happen, you know?
Sure.
I like that about him. But not only for that, but also the collaboration with Danny Elfman. I just love the songs, the production. You know, ever since I was little, I was doing musicals, and actually right before I started to sing, to start recording my first record with B&G, I was asked to play the lead role in The Lion King, and I basically said no because I want to purchase my dream as a musician. But so I always had that musical thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Corpse Bride still is.
Okay.
Yeah. Is it something new?
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
No.
Okay, well, you should see it.
Okay. What movie have you seen the most?
Split again for 2. Coolie High and Clockwork Orange.
Oh, wow.
Like,
that's a weird combination. You watch them back to back?
Probably have.
Okay.
I went blind watching Clockwork Orange.
No, I don't know the movie.
As you can.
Should I?
You should.
Are these big movies?
They're
Coolie
called
High,
classics.
no. Yeah, definitely
Cult
cult classic. No, really, I had to start wearing glasses after watching
Clockwork Orange.
Probably the 3rd time I watched it. My mom was like, "You need glasses." True story.
I had The Godfathers for me also.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, everybody with that. Yeah.
For sure. So complete the sentence. I don't have talent. I have blank.
I don't know. I don't have talent. I have a heart.
A heart.
Oh.
That's cool. Adrian, complete the sentence.
I don't have talent. I have courage.
That's good. So if I worked for you, what's something I would hear you say over and over?
Hey. Yeah.
For real.
My friends, they keep saying that to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Adrian, what do you say over and over to the people that work for you?
Oh, okay. It's nothing.
All right.
Yeah.
And lastly, who would you be most excited to learn appreciates your work?
I would say there's not one person. It's just for me, my fans, the people that would listen to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because those are the people that I make music for.
Yeah.
Not just for myself. And once they, come to the show, just they give me the biggest gift that I can do what I love to do the most, that is singing.
Nice. Adrian, somebody
I'm,
said, hey.
I'm blown away every time somebody comes up and says, "You did this, you did that."
Yeah.
And it's happened with Jeff. It's happened with Pharrell. It's happened with Kanye. It's happened with Dre. Like, so I guess that kind of like thing leads me to want to be noticed or recognized by humanitarian things or a global citizen committee saying, we recognize you, or some sort of like, existence from a bigger source. Ben Crump recently said, I love the music that you are involving yourself in and around. And that says a lot to me.
Nice.
So just same kind of her. Anybody and everybody that is into it.
Cool. Well, I know you're starting to work on some things that will have some impact on humanity beyond music. So we'll have you back and talk about those when you're ready.
I'm totally into it.
And we're going to have you back and talk about your million seller.
Yes,
Well, maybe we'll be in Amsterdam then.
Yes,
Let's do it in Amsterdam.
Okay.
I love it.
Eat some
So-
waffles.
We're
We're gonna at your house.
We're going to
Oh, yeah.
Amsterdam.
She has a house there. She's, you know, I don't see she balling, but she balling.
So we'll record the next one at your house in Amsterdam, and then we're going to Paris. That's what we figured out today.
Yes.
Viva France.
Love
That's
it.
it.
Thank you guys for being
Yeah,
here.
man.
Thank you for having me.
How does everybody find you online?
Instagram,
Mhm.
MS Laroussi. Same for Facebook,
Cool.
Twitter.
Hashtag what?
Hashtag MS Laroussi.
Cool.
I'm gonna hurt her. What's your hashtag now?
Oh, my hashtag is Laroussi.
What else? Do you also hashtag? Please, thank you.
Zion. Hashtag Zion, of course.
No, it's hashtag powered
Hashtag
by
powered
Zion.
by Zion.
Powered by
Let me say it
Zion.
again.
XYION.
Love it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lost is out now,
Yes.
blowing up the dance charts.
Soon come.
And
Yeah.
A Plus is coming out.
Yeah, A+ is coming out soon as well.
Awesome. We'll be watching.
Thank you so much.
Right on.
Yeah.
Yeah, Josh, Rebel Radio, and James.
Yeah.
Yo, that was Laroussi and my man Adrian Miller here on Rebel Radio. I hope you enjoyed it. I know I did. Leave us a review, a comment on iTunes, on Spotify. Hit us on Twitter at Rebel Radio Net, Facebook page at Rebel Radio Net. Check out videos from our episodes on our YouTube page. And most importantly, come back next week for more Rebel Radio.